So, apparently the world has melted because I'm doing a speed paint, and I'm going to show you what happens when I take a background from one of our first artists on Diamond on the Sky, Cam, and I attempt to redraw it. Now, you may be sat there thinking, oh, Jake, what's so wrong about you doing it? Well, I've never taken an art class, and I don't have a drawing tablet, so this was done with a mouse. And you might be thinking, oh, that's not too bad. Well, I am also left-handed, but I was taught to use a mouse with my right hand. So, well, let's just say I have previously drawn this, and I've only recently stopped using MS Paint. I'm gonna regret this, aren't I? Okay, there we go. I'm gonna go straight to the beginning. I'm just gonna hit play. So, this drawing took me about 5 hours in total. Seems quite a lot for one particular background, but because I had no idea what I was doing, I actually ended up basically redrawing the entire thing 3 times. Because I don't really know what I'm doing, and was just learning how to use layers and such, and what that actually looks like. Like, for example, here you can see me trying to trace over what I'd just drawn to reflect it, something I ended up using quite a lot to do the symmetry, because for the life of me I couldn't find a copy paste, so I was like, okay, well, I'll just draw it again. It definitely came to bite me in the arse a few times, and you'll see it as we go. I'll tell you, these sofas really were difficult. Oh. I mean, the whole thing was difficult, but I mean, at least I had Cam's original drawing, and I'll tell you this much, Cam is a great artist. Like, there's stuff about this particular drawing that's a background. There's other things in there in the final videos, but like, she did reflections in the tiles on the floor. She had like glints in the windows, like just so much detail. And I tried to preserve as much of it, but I couldn't do the reflections in the tiles. That's beyond my skill set. When we get to colouring, you'll see that all I'm doing is just copying exactly the colours that she used. Cam has accidentally been my art teacher through this process, just from looking at what she's done in her drawings. It's really quite impressive, to be honest with you. Even me drawing my lines over the top, I didn't feel like I could do it justice. I mean, I still don't think I have, but hopefully we can get some entertainment out of just how derpy my version of this is. And that was the other thing. I couldn't work out how to make layers take priority over each other. It always just seems to be in SAI that the most recent thing you've drawn just overlaps everything. And there's no real way to push things to the front or the back, as far as I could tell. Well, I found a way to work around it. That's basically the whole story of this drawing, is me trying to do stuff to save time and ending up making it harder for myself as a result. Oh, jeez. I had a lot of fun with the layers. I'd use different ones for different points. Like you can see there, I've got one for the left of the frame, one for the right, one for the background, one for the background and the reflections. I had no idea how I was going to get all of that painted, because it would all be on different layers. Now we start colouring. So when I used to do stuff on MS Paint, I would use the fill tool, and the fill tool on MS Paint would leave a bunch of white specks, because the brushes on MS Paint like try and work out what you're doing and add a bunch of dots of varying degrees in, and they do that after you've drawn it, and so you can't really tell that they're there. SAI kind of does the same thing, but at least it's has the decency to do it while you're doing it. Anyway, when you use the fill tool on SAI, it wipes out half of your lines, and I could not for the life of me work out how to fix that. So this is why I had to redraw the entire thing a couple of times. As you can see, like basically every time I use the fill tool, that's me trying to work out how on earth I'm going to try this. I accidentally find out that you can push all of your layers. You can push all of your layers into one thing, so that was a really useful thing that I accidentally did. But here we are, you can just see me, and literally what I'm doing is just using the colour picker on Cam's drawing and just going, right, this goes here, and then redrawing all the lines as they get smushed out. I could have left it without the lines, but I thought it looked a little too vague, like stuff wasn't popping out, and that'd be fine for me. I usually like stuff that bleeds into each other, but I thought for this project it's probably not the best idea, so the remaining 4 minutes or so is just me redrawing the picture whenever I add colour. Oh my god. Yeah, it easily doubled how long this picture took, this process. But I honestly couldn't think of a way to fix it until and I've seen Cam work inside before. I know you can have a layer where you're basically just using the brush to paint over it, but for the life of me I had no idea what I was doing. And I remember in a Discord call once, Cam told me not to use the fill tool on SAI because it does this. Unfortunately, I was halfway through the painting, through the drawing at this point, so I kind of had to stick with it. Or at least that's how I felt at the time, so you might be able to see I'm getting increasingly bad at doing straight lines, because I'm just so pissed off that I have to keep redrawing this picture. Oh, it is really, really bizarre. So hopefully before my next drawing for Diamond I learn how to not do that, because that's going to be really annoying and great really quickly. Oh dear. That's another bit of detail that Cam put in that I just couldn't. She has, on these palm trees here, when I come to do the leaves, I think I left it in where you can see me try and do it, but she has a few like splodges of a darker colour, to indicate that there's depth and 3 dimensions to these trees. I tried to do the same thing, it didn't work at all, so I kind of had to just cut my losses and say, you know what, I can't do this at my skill level right now because I'm a beginner. Oh dear. Yeah, there we are. There I am trying to do it, and I just can't. I had such, as you can see, that I did try to colour these sofas twice, because the first time was the first time that it started to erase all the lines, and I thought, well, I can't. This can't be right. There has to be an easier way to do this. No, not one that I could figure out anyway. I guess this is what I get for stealing Kam's art and her art program, but not her pictures and pictures and hours worth of practice. This bit annoyed me, having to redraw the tiles again. Because I'd done all that work at the beginning to make sure that I didn't have to redraw them, but I ended up doing it anyway. And actually, to be honest, they came out better once I'd redrawn them, so I'm not too worried about it. Now, the emeralds, I'm really pleased with how they turned out. So you can see me kind of colouring it in here. That's because the fill tool didn't work, it just filled in the whole thing for whatever reason. But yeah, they turned out really well purely because of Kam's colour choices. Like, this is all Kam. But once this emerald is done, you will see the whole picture. Hopefully I did an okay job. So this is what Kam did. This is what I did. Oh god. I've got a whole chapter of these to do. Could somebody help me? Make sure you follow Kam on Instagram. Her profile is here. Follow me if you like. I don't know who you would be to not know who I am and get to this video, but subscribe if you want. And you can find both of us over at Team Diamond. So subscribe there and see these pictures being used in the future. Oh god.